Good day, good people. Once again, you've got the grumpy old nerds in your ear. It's like we're doing this all over again.
It's
I'm
almost
your
like
Uncle
Groundhog
John. I'm your Uncle John, your elder who knows too damn much about movies, TV, and comic books. And as always, we're joined by our wonderful cast of characters. Up there's the five-borough Ronin Uncle Rod. Hi, Uncle Rod.
victim of Kang the Conqueror's time machine.
Ah, over here in the booty chair is Uncle Percy. Hi, Uncle Percy.
The fog is getting thicker, and Leon's getting larger.
Right here is our cosplay expert and too young to be called aunt, cousin Amayu. Hi, Auntie Amayu, cousin Amayu, whatever your name is. Shit. Over here is the red bone assassin, Uncle DJ. Hi, Uncle DJ.
Hey, I've been pre-gaming.
Shit, it ain't pre-game
Again.
anymore. And we are positively excited to be joined by our host today. He is a cosplayer extraordinaire, amongst other things. He is one of the powerful men in Black cosplay and in trying to bring forth the Black con experience. Uncle Demetrius Holt.
Yes, sir.
It's like we've known each other for at least an hour.
Look. The ice has been broken. We can't sit here and say like, oh well, let's ease into it. Right? We're here now. But I appreciate the introduction. But yes, we've been out here cutting up for the last like 35 minutes. So.
That's right. When we say Black con, we're not talking about the kind y'all thinking of,
Oh,
yeah. That is a hard thing to abbreviate. Like, yeah, I'm going to a con, or I'm in cons, or like, yeah, the con is going well. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Who you scamming?
Like exactly. Who's getting scammed?
Right.
Ex-con, what?
So aside from being my physical, if not spiritual twin, Uncle Demetrius, we are talking about cosplay and the Black experience. And I was discussing before about the courage. Hey, Noah, how you doing? One of my former students, Noah, is watching the show.
All right.
When I was younger, I was ashamed to read comic books and to enjoy the cartoons, and which are now commonplace. And I wanted to talk to you about where did you find, and please just act like I'm asking this for the first time. Where did you find the courage to start cosplaying?
Okay, so listen, what wasn't said before is the fact that I've been in this world since I was 4 years old. Like, okay, if you look behind me, these are action figures that my mom helped me collect, over the years. So that's them. And then like you turn, and then you see there's the Castle Grayskull at the bottom there.
That's
from
what
like
I'm talking
1980s.
My man.
Over here you got the right there in the middle. That's your 1986 die-cast metal Voltron. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Like all the other stuff. And then keep going, like that's the Power Ranger stuff that I was into, all the way over to the Spawn. And then over there in the corner is the more like obscure stuff. So you got your gargoyles, your real, extreme Ghostbusters, and then
I see Spider-Man up there.
Yeah, those like all like the obscure characters of Spider-Man, So
Very cool. Very
because
cool.
we're gonna go back around this way. So like this is like the X-Men wall and like the Justice League stuff, and like again, like down here is like some of like you see the
Green
Turbo
Lantern,
Man.
that's my dude.
You see the Turbo Man from Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's the Tiger Direct one, not the Walmart one that's coming out like now and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I'm just saying, like I've been doing this. I'm 39. I've been doing this for 35 years.
Nice.
So
what you're saying is you deep in the game.
yeah, I'm not, and I've had to prove.
Oh,
I had to
gee.
prove my nerdom to people. They thought what's your
Don't
real?
you find that weird? That's crazy, right?
Why do
the
you have to
gatekeepers are
prove
funny.
your nerddom? I don't understand that.
Because they think that just because you don't look like them, that you don't deserve to be in the same space as them. It's the funniest thing. White people feel the same way that some real Black nerds feel. Like, so ask your question so people can think on it. Okay. So the question that I asked Roy earlier
All
was,
right.
and apparently it's inflammatory to ask it one way as opposed to asking another way. So question, in any fandom, in any medium, what character doesn't deserve to have a black card? Or who is undeniably black within the characters like that you know of. So I've been having
Okay.
conversations all afternoon and evening that center around, you know, is that framed the right way? Or what are we talking about? And I can't help but to think, what one instance, what one instance can you think of that actually zeroes in on a character's blackness? To the point where, okay, yeah, they can keep their card, or they never lost their card. But then you think of other characters, it's like, are they a betrayal to the culture, or they just never they were never written for the culture? So anyways, yeah, think about that.
Okay, so you're talking about any property you can think of,
Yeah, like
comics, movies,
a
TV, whatever.
perfect example who was undeniably black. One thing that came up today was Static and his family. They had to deal with his best friend Richie. His dad was a racist, and they had that episode, right? They had to deal with that. They also dealt with Static going to Africa, where he was talking to that spider Anansi, right?
Yep.
Right. What I'm saying? So, and he was talking about the representation or the lack thereof. So again, that's what I'm talking about. You can immediately think of that instance, and then some people had the conversation like, well, damn, like, so does that mean that Blue Marvel doesn't have a black card because he saw Jim Crow happen and didn't do anything? What I mean? Like, and like, is that a betrayal? Okay. But then I can't help but because like there's so many different factors. Because in my mind, is it a betrayal that he didn't do anything, or was it the blackest thing that he could have done to mind his own business? Because we as black folks are kind of isolationists, where we don't want to bother nobody else as long as they don't bother us. This was kind of why the Wakandans didn't do anything, and why Killmonger was coming home to set shit on fire. They were worried about themselves. So was Wakanda like isolationists? Were they minding their business while black folks were in chains?
Now, okay, I gotta pick up on that, because if our brother hadn't passed away, Chadwick Boseman, the end of how Marvel has their end cut scene, and then that kind of foreshadows what's going to happen in the future. What I was looking forward to, if he hadn't passed away, basically like Black Panther 2 became a eulogy of sorts, like a memorial service, as opposed to when he and his sister opened up the community center, and he's like, yo, I just bought this, Killmonger was right in a sense, we haven't reached out, I bought this building, that building, that building, that building, we about to introduce ourselves to America and to the world, and we about to get involved, and that never happened. So you know what I mean? Like, yeah, they were isolationists before, but Killmonger kind of opened his eyes to, you know what, we need to get involved.
So are you saying that he earned his black card by the end of the film?
Are you saying Black Panther never had it?
Answer my question, Nick.
His Black American Express card.
I'm asking because you basically have presented it as Black Panther was believing to be an isolationist, but then Killmonger, even though his methods may have been extreme, opened him up to actually helping other black people.
Well, I never associated having a black card as being involved or not involved. That aspect of it, I don't see it that way. So I don't think Black Panther ever had a problem with his black card. He just never used it.
So what good is a black card if you don't use it?
Exactly.
Well, I want to go back to the previous example that Demetrius gave when talking about Blue Marvel.
Okay.
As far as Blue Marvel is concerned, and if we got any questions about that, we can go straight to the source. We know we can find them. We can get to Kevin, right? But the way Kevin wrote it was that this guy was a hero during a time in which black people were supremely oppressed, and he covered his identity. When they found out he was black, the president said, "Hey, I'm going to need you to go inactive." Now, to me, that would be the ultimate in repression and suppressing yourself. The way it was is that, okay, I'm going to go inactive because I don't want to cause any more problems. So
like
later
Tim
on
Scott?
when he shows up, later on when he shows up in the comics, to be honest with you, if he had been drawn a different way and was colored a different way, he was written exactly to sound like a white dude. Like there's no way to tell. And I don't know if I don't know if that's on purpose, or I don't know if they want
Sounds
to
on
do that.
purpose.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't know if they want to do that just to say that he's no different from anybody else just because he's black. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like a double-edged sword to me.
Well,
All lives matter, man.
Isn't that the same Carol like Isaiah, the Black Captain America? Didn't he go through the same situation too, where he literally had to give up? He went through all that, became a hero, but then he had to quietly disappear.
Right. Right.
So the question that was posed to me was, is that a trend? A trope of immensely powerful black characters introduced into comics only to have them not act on behalf of their people's freedom for some white altruistic can't we all just get along reason.
I mean, isn't that the number one knock against President Obama? Well, he didn't help us
say that
enough.
about him.
He didn't help us enough. He didn't do enough,
But okay, with as far as the president is concerned, like people were wanting him to just unilaterally just put laws into place that would only benefit black people. They weren't going to do that. He wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, even if he wanted to, he probably couldn't do that. But I was thinking as Demetrius was reading that thing about tropes, I was thinking about some of the blackest comics ever made, and that was done by Milestone, right? And then you have the character of Icon.
I was waiting.
Yeah,
I was
he's
waiting.
a conservative, but grew up as a black man in the
slavery.
Deep South during slavery.
Wow.
You would think that somebody like Icon, as an alien who picks the form of a black person, goes through all of that. You would think he would be somewhat angry, right?
You mean like brother from another planet?
Kind of, yeah. But if I'm Icon, and I say this is what this country has done, okay, well I'm going to make sure that this doesn't happen again. However, I need to do it.
But is it a difference because the character of Icon isn't really a black man? He took the form of a black man because that was a black woman was the first person to discover him as an infant. And also, since we're talking about this, the newest incarnation of Icon, because Milestone has redone everything, are they still sticking with this as his origin?
Yes.
Okay.
And they even go so far as to he and Rocket during the second iteration, Milestone Returns, they actually go out and basically get rid of all crime in Dakota City.
Yeah.
And then he says, you see, you have this, certain things will happen as unintended consequences of him cleaning up crime. And one of them is, political ramifications of it.
So my question is, what makes him any different than Martian Manhunter? Because Martian Manhunter chooses to be a black man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
How recent has that been, though? How recent is that? Because I don't remember him always taking the form of a black guy. I think that's been somewhat recent. Like maybe
what's recent in your mind?
The 70s, 80s.
Oh well, shit. That's
That
Like,
reason.
see, Demetrius,
But he's
you
been
just
out.
you a
But
little
he's been
older
out.
than you, brother.
Wait, you
But he's
just
been out in like
aged
the
him out.
50s, since the
God
50s.
damn.
right. But I mean, that's if you're talking about canon that was earmarked in the 70s, we might as well just call that what it is.
Canon,
You know what I
right.
mean? Because
Right.
because especially in DC, the way that they do a crisis every few years, because they can't get shit right over there. But all I'm saying is,
Hey,
Damn, wait a minute.
you
You
preaching to
just
the
became
choir,
one
man.
of us. Wait, he just became one of us. Come on, bro.
no, honestly, like, I am a Marvel fan over DC because I believe in stories that have people who have to rise to extraordinary situations, even though they're just ordinary people, or extraordinary things happen to them, but they have to figure out how to do things like on a regular basis, as opposed to gods trying to figure out how to be people. That's just not interesting to me.
Right.
But
And
That's
they
an
make
interesting
sense.
way to look at it.
Right, right.
I mean, Peter Parker still got to pay a bill or two, you know.
Yeah.
Like a big part of us was playing Spider-Man 2. It was like, yo, what did Aunt May do with this mortgage? Like, what the fuck? You know. So like, it was realistic. We all related to that shit, you know. But you know,
Wait.
Superman.
I mean,
But
dude didn't want to lose his job as a photographer at the newspaper. He was like, "Yo, I got to contribute."
Mhm.
I can't lose this job.
Right.
I think
One of the first things
one of
he
the
asked
main.
one of the first things he asked when joining the Fantastic Four and the Avengers was, "Do you pay?
Do you
Do you
pay?
have
Right.
health
Yeah.
benefits?"
Man, listen. Okay.
And see, and the thing is, like, everyone thought that was kind of weird for Sam Wilson to just accept the fact that there was no like payment plan for being an Avenger, you know. But as soon as Peter Parker says it, he was like, "Oh yeah, I get that, I understand." Why is that?
But I also want to look at the fact that Martian Manhunter came to Earth as an adult and chose to be a black man, whereas Icon lived his life through slavery, the Civil War, into that's a whole different perspective coming from, okay, I came to Earth in the 70s, I'm a black man, as opposed to being a child and being raised in slavery up to and surviving up until the present day, choosing to become a lawyer and to be wealthy and still not take action until this little black girl breaks into your house and basically chastises you.
Wait. So that's the story with Icon.
Icon and Rocket. Yep.
Oh
Yes.
man, that makes perfect fucking sense to me. Because I mean, if you come if you come to America in the 70s, shit, being black was the thing. I mean, you're like, fuck, who wouldn't want to be black? But I mean, if you Icon and you come through slavery and all that shit, is like the last thing I want to be is black. What? Hold up, how can I switch up this game?
But he continues to be black, is what John is saying. The character
But he
continues
chose
to be black.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer and he's wealthy, but he doesn't use his
let me
influence to help other black people.
Let me explain my answer though. To go through all of that, again, Tim Scott. Like I said, there are brothers that have decided that, okay, we done gone through all this shit, and we are going to decide that this shit don't matter. Clarence Thomas, whatever you see, that's not really what's here. I'm just like y'all, and they just choose to be different, like they're trans or something, which is why I don't understand why they're so against trans people. It's like, hey, I can say I'm, she, well, I can say I'm white, so I mean, that's pretty much what they choose to do.
The views of Uncle DJ are not.
Put that views thing up now. Okay, all right, go ahead.
Okay, Dave Chappelle.
So, no bullshit. I was like, he treading some dangerous waters there. Like what are we doing? Everybody just pull back. Just be like,
we're trying to get
the red bone assassin.
We're trying to get 2 million hits. We want people to come out. That's what this is all about.
Hey, DJ, say something about Steve Harvey too.
Man, listen, I'm about to say this is my Cat Williams moment. You know what? We all got a light-skinned wife, just don't know nothing and shit. She don't say shit, don't do no interviews, nothing like that.
I have a light-skinned wife, so yeah.
Not a
No,
weird
but
taste.
your
Will.
wife, no, but your
Not
wife
a weird
blacker than
taste. Will.
your wife is blacker than motherfucker. Connie got her black card. She has her black card. Okay, there's no doubt. And she will speak on it. She
I'm
will
sure she
speak on that
appreciates
shit.
that. Thank you, DJ.
Yeah, she will speak on it.
Okay, so I've been sitting here thinking about some other characters. And something that's a little more complicated. Miles Morales.
Okay. He's half black.
Correct.
And his listen, that one joke about why his spider sense kept going off. Cut it out. That's it. He's keeping his forever.
I don't know. What?
He didn't understand. He was asking Peter, like, I don't know if it's a joke or a meme, but the fact that it's attached to him is what matters. His spider sense is constantly going off, and Peter's like, no, it shouldn't be doing that. And then he like, wonder what's different between you and me.
Right.
Which means
he's a
always
black boy
danger.
in constant danger, Mayu.
Right. Every time,
He's always in danger.
Cousin of Mayu, every time he walks past a car, the door's locked. I mean, that's what that's what he's saying.
Gotcha.
Right.
I didn't see that meme, so okay, like don't judge me.
But see, that's the thing. Like when you think of these characters, like what instance can you see in your mind immediately that points to their blackness other than the origin of their powers? Because like my brand manager was like, well, she just ran off the list. She was like, yeah, I don't see how Vixen or Bumblebee or Rocket like really like go into their culture and on the comment. I'm like, well, Rocket, that's if she's on the opposite end of Icon, then she has to be talking about what's black, what matters to the culture or whatnot.
That is the purpose of her character.
Right.
She's
but
foil
then
to Icon.
Right. So if I'm thinking about Vixen's totem, yes, that is unapologetically black, but based in the diaspora. Cool. What about Vixen makes her for the culture, what about that? And then
I think it would have to be how she reacts to certain situations. Have to be shown in what she says. Yeah.
See, there's that, but then you have to like, okay, that's cool. That's in your mind. That's something you can point to. Cool. John Stewart.
The same.
As far as I know, everything that goes on with him is based on his military career. I haven't really seen him be brought back to like his cultural roots to the point where he is defined by his blackness in any kind of story.
Oh, when he first came out, when he first appeared, he was all over that. That's one of the reasons he says he doesn't wear a mask. He says because he wants everyone to know who he is.
Nice. See, and and this is also a conversation to help people learn more about characters that they don't know. So as long as you come in with an open mind to say, well, I didn't see that or I didn't know that, I'm willing to do research on it, then you can grow as a person and grow as a black person who loves black characters, because now you have a reason to go do some research.
Right.
Okay,
absolutely.
real quick. That was my question about Captain America, about Wilson.
Sam Wilson.
Wasn't he? Yeah, wasn't he? He's military, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the MCU, yes.
Yeah, he's in the comics. He's a social worker.
Oh, okay. Well, they don't get paid anyway, so I mean, that would explain. I mean, that would kind of explain why he was like, "Oh shit, I should ask you about salary." I didn't think about that because we don't really, we do it for the love. We love what we do. That's what we do.
Nice. So okay. Oh, go ahead, Person.
So just quick, I'm thinking about the NerdCon. Do you think this should be one of the tracks that we talk about certain characters and how we how they're being exposed in the, I would say, Marvel DC comic book universe?
How they're being written?
Yeah.
Like, so my brand manager and I, we're thinking about taking this kind of question to the people itself. Like, you know how you see those videos where people are just like, asking random folks within the conventions,
like man on the street questions.
Yeah, and like this is something that we're workshopping because it would get people going to say, but then I think there's a way to get folks hooked, and I didn't want to. I am wholly aware that I think too much about how we are perceived. When I say we, I'm talking about Blurred and Powerful and Black folks in general. I don't like the idea because Dave Chappelle was it Dave Chappelle? No, it was Marlon Wayans. It's like, you know, when everyone's talking about Cat Williams, they're like, you know, Cat never lied about anything, but why are you talking about the Black community when we already have strikes against us, when we're trying to grow, we're trying to get better, whatever, but then yet here you are profiting off the fact that you're talking shit about our fellow people. Whereas being in comedy, you have to keep the context that they're in competition with one another. You know what I mean? And if you don't keep that in mind, then you just think that he's just trying to tear down other folks because someone says something like, well, you don't see him talking about white comedians like that. I'm like, that's a damn lie. He is, you know, right. You know, he goes across the board. So, but for me in Blurred and Powerful, and like the community itself is always stressed when it comes to interpersonal relationships. You know, there's a lot of different folks that deal with people in many different ways or respond to their traumas in ways that they just, you know, are not emotionally intelligent. So in order to be aware and to acknowledge and to combat any real backlash, I have been trying to workshop this question to the point where we don't have any real negative feedback. And in asking this question today to some of my friends, right, I mean, asking this question to my, like, I framed it like, who should have their Black card denied, you know? And then that evoked a conversation about how some of these characters are coons or not coons, you know? And I'm like, yo, I didn't want to go that far, you know?
Just because you don't meet, just because you get the Black card revoked doesn't
sometimes you need to go that far.
But see, that's that's where the conversation, I should just let it be, but then I don't want to be the catalyst to something dumb. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want some Jerry Springer, you know, something salacious type stuff, you know, happening.
Right. No, absolutely. We don't want to
especially at a Black convention, you know.
We don't want to go shay, but I mean, you know,
yes, we
okay, Uncle Percy, what I was saying is we don't want to necessarily go club shay, but I mean, you know, at least be, you know, honest and at least be, you know, if you come to the Urban Nerd Con, then we need to at least be honest and address the elephant in the room if need be.
It's fair. Every argument is fair. What I've been told is that I just need to make sure that I check my emotions to the point where I can de-escalate a situation should it get high, you know, and just know that, yeah, this might be for content, but it doesn't need to be negative content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I think that that's what I was gonna present to you, in that the question is valid, but as long as you're steering how the responses come in, that would help to keep it from just devolving into ridiculousness. I mean,
well, you know,
using Club Shay Shay as an example, Shannon could have kept Cat, not could have kept him, but could have steered Cat away from some of the more salacious shit that he said.
No, he just let that dude cook.
At one point, Shannon just sat back and said, "Fuck it, go ahead."
He sat back and sipped
like,
cognac.
Shit, Cat, have another drink, Cat.
Right, drink some more.
On, Cat.
Like it's
talking about here. Keep going.
It was the best investment he could have made too.
Right.
If you didn't see Saturday Night Live and the way they spoofed it, I appreciate it because every time they came back, Cat Williams' glass was bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that they got right, that it was like, okay, you know, dude is obviously on something, but he's still drinking and he's drinking more and more and more, and his glass is getting bigger. And yeah, so that they got right.
But did they?
Not that this has anything to do with it.
Man, that's a really thought-provoking question, Demetrius.
Yeah, I think because we've been, there's a few other questions that we've got, but this is one that I wanted to ask, you know, y'all tonight, because I wanted to come in and contribute, you know, to the conversation as opposed to just because I didn't know exactly how the conversation was going to go, so I just want to make sure I brought something to the table.
Well, you brought something.
Actually, shit, I think you turned this into the Demetrius show because you interviewed us.
Oh, well, I mean,
It's all good.
That's the funny thing about the community as well, is that there's a lot of people who go on interviews and they kind of clam up. You know, they don't really have the right kind of personality to go back and forth or to even facilitate a conversation. And where I think I have the most fun is, I'm a guest to be interviewed, but as soon as I'm able to flip that into me being the interviewer, then the show gets a lot more interesting, because a lot of people don't really know the people behind the scenes on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm only going to be here for 1 week. Y'all got to get to know these people here who are here every single week, and hearing y'all's perspectives on something is a lot more interesting than just some random dude that you just see for the first time ever.
Okay, so personal question then: do you go by Demetrius, or do you have a short? You know, is there?
I go by him. You know, a lot of different times.
So Uncle Him, Uncle Him, is that what it's gonna be?
Him.
You know,
see, he didn't get the joke. But anyways, but no, it's I go, you know, is it Demetrius or Hellspawn or D is fine, but you know, a lot of
Uncle
people.
D, okay,
Yeah,
Uncle D, that's cool. They won't confuse us because you know there's a slight difference between the two.
Oh, yeah.
So, Demetrius, what's the end goal for you? You've got your hand in a lot of different pots,
Right,
and you've got a lot of different things working. It sounds like you're building. We know you're building a brand, but what's the end goal? Where does Demetrius see himself in 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years. Well, with
and
Blurred
another
and Powerful,
caveat.
huh?
What you said, Michael Jai White. Do you see yourself separate or kind of along the same track?
Well, see, this is the thing. Okay. So for KDS Entertainment and Blurred Station, which I am a part of in a strategic partnership fashion, we have shows that we are producing for Blurred Station and also other networks that we're going to be selling the shows to in order to, you know, garner funding for Blurred Station. Blurred Station is a streaming service that is going to be rivaling Netflix and Hulu and all the rest of them, but with the specific niche for the Black nerd. And for everyone who's watching now, I have been saying for months now that we're going to launch the app in January, pending subscribership. You know, it takes money, it takes consistent amount of money to do something, to launch something on a caliber. And some of the pathways that we were banking on did not pan out. But that's why we have backup plans upon backup plans upon backup plans that are actually coming to fruition. Because one of the shows that we are producing, we have Michael Jai White, Orlando Jones, and Jillian White attached to the show now. You know, and it's kind of crazy to have this man's number in my phone, because not only am I like, you know, I met him back in 2017 for the 20th anniversary of Spawn, but you know, I was in King Vader's like latest movie for Blade versus Ghost Rider, and I'm in that as Spawn. So it's like my life is coming full circle on a lot of different levels. So the fact that I'm going to be working with this man, and it's just weird to me. And then also with the whole He-Man thing, that came full circle too.
Nice. Very nice.
But no, end goal question. Okay, so with that being said, for KDS Entertainment, and I plan on producing, my end goal is really to produce Saturday morning block of cartoons for Black children. Like that's what I really want to do. But you know, if it comes down to producing the movies or the television shows that that make us feel like we should be in the spaces that they think that we should not be in, then yeah, that's what I'm doing. Because like right now we've got an anime being produced called, Air Force Ones. You know, it's basically Black people in Gundams. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, through Brian Lambert of Wingless Comics. So we're cooking. Things are coming a little bit slower because we need to get the funds a different way, because we thought if we had the subscribers that we would be able to launch. And we didn't get the numbers, and that's what happens in some of this business. So I hope people understand, and I hope folks don't think that we're scamming them or anything like that. It's just that it's just taking time. So that's that. As far as Blurred and Powerful goes, I would like Blurred and Powerful to be the hub or network resource for Black-owned conventions in the country. You know, so right now, let's say I'm on blurredandpowerful.com. We've got a list of Black-owned conventions where, you know, it's our green book. You can see, you can start planning which conventions to go to throughout the year so that you can support them by actually showing up. And then while we're at other conventions like AwesomeCon coming up, we're going to have lists of things that Blurs can do at that convention that is Black centric, so that you can, you know, visit the booths that have Black people at them, you know, support the Black artists that are there. I got this idea from working with Naseed Gifted at KimFest. I was at San Diego Comic-Con last year, and there was a green book for all the Black events and all the Black parties and all the Black vendors and stuff at San Diego Comic-Con, and it was the best thing in the world. Nice. So, you know, being around our people and being around, you know, folks where we don't have to code switch is wholly important to our experience.
Man, oh man.
No, I fully understand. My first con that I went to, I was 10 or 11, and it was in downtown Chicago. And when I tell you, I was the only little fly in the ointment at that con, and I felt, and for real, I felt alone, and I felt like no one here really understands. I was too young to fully grasp what was going on at the time, but my parents dropped me off and I'm wandering around, and I'm amazed at this plethora of content that I had been a fan of, but also I was the only little Black kid there. So, you know, that now being where we are, even though I'm 55, now being where we are, it still warms my heart that we have these resources. We have people like you who are trying to help. We have the Urban Nerd Con, which is trying to push the narrative. We deserve this. My 10-year-old self is doing backflips right now. So,
man, listen.
So is mine.
Listen, as again, like I grew up watching, you know, He-Man and Silverhawks and Thundercats and, like, you know, all this, like, that was because, like, my brother is 13 years older than me. All right. So he was the one who introduced me to the Transformers, and he told me the difference between them and GoBots, you know, and you know why the Lions were better than the Cars as far as Transformers. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, as far as Voltron. But the thing is with He-Man, it always stuck in me. It's like I'm a true indoctrinated child of the 80s, where, you know, if you were going to do something, you had to, one, be clear of drugs. You know, I'm a dare kid, you know, and then two, you know, it's always going to come down to you having the power to change your fate, or to be the captain of your soul. You know what I mean? Like that poem. So, you know, being able to say as a 39-year-old man that I have, you know, there are action figures of me as He-Man, as my cosplay as of He-Man, or I'm, you know, I'm on the cover of like actual Dark Horse comics as He-Man or He-Soul. Like I'm in the canon for Masters of the Universe. Like I'm a master of the universe, you know, like legit. Like I can say that, and like my son can play with my action figures, and he's like, "That's you." That's my 4-year-old self flipping the fuck out, you know, every single day that I'm down here. And, you know, if this whole thing with, you know, with Michael Jai White really works out, like, do you realize, like, I was Spawn in a movie that you can watch right now, and like my 13-year-old self is flipping out. You know, so,
okay, wait, here come. Okay, it's time for a slow clap. I'm sorry, this is
like, thank you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like when you think about it,
no,
this is 6 years of doing what?
I do a lot of jokes, but I'm saying, bruh, I'm telling you, what you just described, what you just, you know, in 60 seconds, like went through is I think more than Uncle John could have, put into words as far as, hey, what would you like to see in 5 or 10 years, dude? You've accomplished at this point more than a lot of us could ever think about. But the beautiful thing is that you've got so much more in front of you. It's phenomenal. We love it.
I appreciate it. Like I said, what's the point of having a position to do things if you don't use it to help?
If you don't do things.
Right. right.
So like I am thankful that I've had the opportunities and I've listened to the people. My inner circle has been very, very patient with me. And and I can't help but thank them enough for giving me the counsel that they've given me. So by listening to them and slowing down and focusing on what truly matters as far as like the good work or the good trouble, like John Lewis said that we need to be engaging in.
Absolutely.
Like this is what true representation is supposed to be about, and this is what true change is supposed to be when you are the change that you want to see. So yeah, like I wanted, like my man Oliver Banks, he did a couple of, like, we're still working on the PSAs, the animated PSAs for Black children to let them know that their Black heroes do exist. We're still working on them. We got one out, but he was, I mean, come on, we can't do anything without the artist, and he was humble enough to say, yeah, man, I work with you, and it's just, there's a lot of different people that work with me that are super talented, and I'm super thankful for them because, nobody can do it on their own, and I'm just really, really fortunate that y'all stuck by me. So thank you.
Absolutely.
I just really would be a time where people wouldn't have to say, hey, I'm in cosplay. I just happen to be a person of color, and people don't look at you sideways or look at you funny. You know what I mean? But I think that's going to require a whole lot of other stuff happening in the world before it gets to that point.
Yeah, well,
to be honest with you,
we're on the way, though. We're on the way.
We are on the way. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
definitely on the way.
We're on the way, and I'm thankful also that back when I was going to my first conventions, there were maybe 5 or 6 Black characters, and now there's a plethora of characters to choose from. I've decided who I'm going to cosplay. I've decided who I'm going to be.
Okay.
Who's that?
I'm going to be the 15th Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa.
Okay.
So this is what you need to do. Just treat it.
Shut up, Percy.
Treat it as if you're just putting together an outfit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, and if you can't find something on Amazon, especially since like this would be your first time, if you can't find something on Amazon, check Etsy. You know? Like it's.
Yeah, but don't fuck with Temu.
Listen. There are things that you can find on those types of sites that will enhance the cosplay because they're trinkets. Right. If it's like a small light or something like that, go for $2 as opposed to trying to get something you see on Amazon for like 50. You know what I mean? So you just got to do the research, take the time, give yourself time. So yeah, and then don't worry about being screen accurate. It's all about what you bring to the table.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I'm look, man, you're the best thing to happen to my cosplay career because now I'm fired up and I'm excited. And I'm going to challenge each of my co-stars on this show.
I knew you was going to do that shit. I knew you was going to do that
shit.
Like, Amayu,
I'm just coming as Kingpin. I'm just coming as Kingpin. That's it.
That would be perfect. That would be perfect. But I'm challenging my co-stars when we do our show live at the Urban Nerd Con, January 26th through the 28th. April 26th.
January.
Yeah, I know, right?
We got some work to do.
We got a couple months. I'm challenging the grumpy old nerds to cosplay. Come on, Percy. You can find somebody.
Can do it.
Because I knew you were gonna say that. I already have an idea.
Man, this would be
have an idea.
You have an idea, Rod? Got it. And DJ, you'd be the perfect kingpin. Percy, I don't know what we're gonna do with you, brother. We gonna figure it out. But okay, I wanted to shifting gears a little bit.
Mhm.
So we saw in our collective group chat, we saw a video the other day of Myron Golden. I don't know if you're familiar with this video, Demetrius. Well, he's a black motivational speaker of some sort. And he was saying that he hated superhero movies because subversively they were promoting being broke. And he gave the example. Rod, help me out with the example.
Do you see the look? Do you see the look Demetrius had just then?
No, I didn't.
That's the look I had when I saw it in the group chat. I was like, what? All right, I'm definitely gonna watch this then. Can we pull it up?
Uncle Roy, can we pull up the video? Uncle Mel would have had it ready. I mean,
first of all, that's not true.
Would have.
As he furiously searches for it. But anyway, I guess we can kind of describe it as he's looking for it. He gave examples of what examples did he give, Rod?
He gave the examples of Superman and Lex Luthor. He gave the example of Batman, and he talked about
Spider-Man
as well, and
Spider-Man, right? And Green Goblin,
yeah,
right.
And he was saying how in the superhero movies, being rich is being portrayed as being evil,
villainous, right?
Right, and you had to be broke to be. And he gave the examples of being rich would be Lex Luthor and
Norman Osborn.
Norman Osborn, right.
And if you were rich, if you were Iron Man, if you were Tony Stark, you were rich, but you were an asshole.
Right, essentially. Yeah.
Basically.
Right.
Basically. I mean, he literally sounded like someone who had never picked up a comic book in his life.
Right. And then even with Batman, he's like, yeah, but he didn't have any superpowers. So technically,
so why are we giving if it sounds like he's never read a comic book, then why are we giving him any time?
Exactly. So can we move on?
No, but because he gave when he said made me think like, why would he come up with this thesis? Like, I'm trying to think in my mind
because it would get him clicks and views from the nerd community. They know that we are a commodity.
That's the only reason. Because I'm like, okay, it's gonna keep you broke. I'm like, I didn't think about this stuff when I was little. What are you talking about?
Go.
All right, here we go.
So we're gonna promote this dude. Okay.
Yeah, shut up, DJ.
People to be broke. Say, what do you mean? Like you never even thought about that before, right? See, they started programming you when you were a little kid. Anybody remember this guy named Superman, right? Superman. You remember who he was, right? He was an adopted poor little orphan from another planet. Who was his arch enemy?
How was he poor?
Lex Luthor. What was he? Multimillionaire. Subconsciously. They don't have see, do you understand that every time a story is being told, it's being told on two levels? There's the covert story. That's the part that talks to your head. It's only there to distract you. And the overt story, that's the part that talks to your heart. It's there to program you. Oh, okay.
What you doing right now?
Spider-Man? Oh, another poor little orphan. Raised by his
How is he poor?
Oh.
And how is he an orphan?
Oh, that's right. The Green Goblin. He wasn't a multimillionaire. He was a multi-billionaire. Man. They're always associating wealth with evil. And I know what you're thinking. See, I already know what you're thinking because I'm a mind reader. You're thinking, but Batman was rich? How many of y'all were thinking that? See, I knew it. I knew you were thinking. I knew. See, you got to get up early in the morning. You're gonna catch me on that one. You're right. Batman was rich, but he's the only superhero with no superpowers. Now, which one would you rather do? Have a cool car or just fly? Okay, I'm not. I can't even go there yet. I can't go there yet, but I will. I'll touch on it since you brought it up. Okay, just be ready. Okay, so I know the other thing you're thinking. Yeah, but Iron Man's rich. Don't you? I'm reading your mind. I already told you. But watch this. Iron Man is a narcissistic jerk. who takes advantage and walks of everybody and walks on everybody. So if they make a superhero that's rich, they always give them an undesirable character trait. What about the Black Panther? See, here's what the enemy did with the Black Panther. Black people, we felt so disenfranchised that, unfortunately, far too many of us, just because something's black, we want to go with it. But see, here's the problem I had with Black Panther. They were
agreeing with them on that one.
in the movie teaching ancestor worship. Ancestor worship? What am I worship my dead ancestors for? God's the one that made him. I think I'm going to worship him. Black Panther was cool. He was rich. He was cool. He was smart. He could fight. He did all that. But they had to throw that answer because the enemy is always trying to trip us up. And he'll use whatever method necessary, whatever method possible. See, I'm going to tell you something while I'm on this subject. Our primary identifying factor should not be our color, and it should not be our gender. It should not be our educational level. It should not be the amount of money that we have. It should not be an association that we're a part of. It should not be our fraternity. It should not be our neighborhood. It should not be our country club. Our primary identifying factor of our lives should be the fact that we are redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. And if that's not first, you got the wrong thing in first place.
So to answer the question of why discuss this, the fact that he is out there spreading the bullshit is reason enough to just kind of debunk the bullshit that he was saying, because there are the pulpit from which he's preaching from. There are people who are stupid enough to listen because they don't know. You know what I'm saying?
When he started talking about a Black Panther, I was like, okay, wait a minute, man. So he made 1 point, a half a point, and then he took 2 steps backwards when he talks about them showing ancestor worship. I'm like,
Right.
That's what people in Africa did. That is the African tradition.
Yes.
That is their spiritual tradition, is ancestor worship. The stuff he's talking about was forced upon them by colonialism in the 1500s.
No, and it's not even their. See,
it wasn't their religion.
Come on, no, you come on, get heated. I want you to. Come on, get heated.
You're official uncle, motherfucker. Get in here.
Because the thing is this. For one, he doesn't even try to address the fact that, you know, people can grow from their basic instincts, which is what a story arc is. Like, he wants to talk about Tony Stark being a narcissistic jerk. Like, that was the first 25 minutes of that movie. Like, and that's all he saw, and that's all he knows. That's the first issue, or the first half of issue, or first 25 minutes. He doesn't see what his penance is, or his mental prison is. That would be something I'm pretty sure he would enjoy. But the fact that he wants to talk about things in such a myopic view, in such a limited view, I don't know. I stopped talking about these people, stopped dealing with them when I realized that they were within the community themselves. Because, of course, Goku can't beat everybody, you know what I mean? But then this is they try to apply this nonsense to everything, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. He can't even beat anybody in his own fucking universe. So I mean, just like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I can't, and I won't. I shan't.
Right. Right. Thank you.
It becomes part of this is they're applying a certain logic that makes no sense.
It's not logic.
It's logic that's not logical.
It's all emotion. Well, almost.
Yeah, and that's when, and I guess this was a trigger for me, because back when I was a kid, before God invented dirt, I would run into a lot of people, and I would want to discuss the genre of being a nerd, or superhero movies, or comic book movies, or whatever, sci-fi. And a lot of times, especially within my family, the elders would come to me and say, well, I don't like watching stuff that's fantastical. I like watching stuff that's more real world or grounded. And it's like, what? You don't want to use your imagination? What the fuck?
Hey, John,
everything got to be fruit.
Everything got to be. You got to keep it real. That was before that became a phrase. Everything is keeping it real.
I asked my grandma, because my grandma said that to me. I asked my grandma, it's about talking about comics or whatever. She's like, "Oh boy, that stuff ain't real." So then I said, "So a bush that's on fire talking to a man is real in your Bible?
Oh, man,
A
You
three-headed
better be careful
dragon
when you talk about Black Jesus.
in the
man.
Bible? 3 guys getting thrown into an oven and supposed to be cooked alive and not touched? That's real?"
Yeah.
Needless to say, I got the taste slapped out of my mouth, but that's all right. I made my point.
Listen, I see. The thing is, I don't agree with religion whatsoever. I don't care for it. I don't subscribe to it. I believe that there is a higher power out there guiding us, doing whatever, but it's definitely not something that some book told me that. Because I in my previous marriage, right before we got married, we were doing this Bible study thing, right? And see, things like my brother is gay. All right. My brother, has been married to his husband for, whether it be, legally or spiritually, whatever or, just in love or whatever for the last 20 some odd years. So when I go to this Bible study at this man's house and my ex-wife wasn't there that day, I had to represent us. They decided to focus on how homosexuality is going to force people to go to hell, right? And I'm like, so you mean to tell me my brother's going to hell because of who he loves? That's the way it works. And he was like, well, yeah, that's just the way it's going to be. And like, and you're probably going to go to hell with him because you want to defend him.
God
I was
damn.
like, oh, so when he woke up, and he was able to say that I can no longer come to his house, I was already gone. You know what I mean? So the thing is, I don't believe in dealing with people that would rather be governed by a set of a set of rules and regulations that have been created to subjugate Black people and women in general, because for the benefit of white men. I will not subscribe to it. I will not subscribe to it. So seeing a Black man on the stage talk about how Black people in their own culture are wrong for talking about, celebrating ancestrism or whatnot, and he's celebrating something that wasn't even made for him, but to made to essentially put him in chains.
Subjugate him, yeah.
Y'all are just contradictory to everything, and I just can't really rock with it.
Yeah, it's stupid, but it's fun to talk about it.
And the things I leave people alone. I don't force my ideals on nobody. I listen to folks. I just listen. Well, okay, whatever. But the fact that folks want to have a conversation about something and then they want to apply it to comic books, it's the same situation where people they say, I don't want politics in my comic books. Nigga, there's a comic book character named Captain America. He was punching out Hitler.
The ultimate political statement.
Right. His first issue.
Right.
He's sucking Hitler in the eye.
And you talk about how you don't want you don't want wokeness in your comics, and yet you're a fan of the X-Men. What?
Yeah, I think that whole term has just been totally polluted and doesn't mean what it should mean. So,
yeah.
Well,
people are using it now in a totally opposite way of how it was meant to be used, and they're overusing it, and they sound like idiots.
Yep. You ask them to define what woke is, and they can't do it.
That's what it sounds like.
Well,
it's called beatboxing.
Uncle Demetrius, I'd like to think that you just made a new best friend in Uncle DJ, because I think you just mirrored everything that he was going through his mind right now. But as we come close to the witching hour, we like to say goodbye to our audience. At the end of each show, Uncle Demetrius, we like to leave a little nugget as we walk out the door. Is there anything you'd like to leave our audience?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. Let's see. So, blurredandpowerful. Let me get on the thing. blurredandpowerful.com. It's your source for information on all Black-owned comic book conventions throughout the country. Blurredstation.com. We are choo-chooing. We're coming through.
That's right.
Let's use it.
Locomotion.
Listen, we are still working on launching the app. I haven't got a chance to address everything to anybody or anything like that, but we are working and we are actually doing some amazing things as far as signing Michael Jai White and his wife Jillian to a show that we are producing called Unit 4, and Orlando Jones is definitely on the project as well. So we are working on making sure that we have the funding to launch everything. It's just taking more time because we didn't get the subscribers that we were hoping to get. So please understand that we are still coming. It's just taking a little bit longer. As far as the Urban Nerd Con, Blurred Station and Blurred and Powerful will be at the Urban Nerd Con, and we'll be filming another edition of issue 1, where we will be asking creatives to pitch their ideas for either a comic book that we will be producing on their behalf for their first issue, and we will option that idea that we do eventually choose to be either a television show, live action, or anime. Okay, so we are trying to bolster the attendance, not just at Urban Nerd Con, but also at ChromaCon, and which one's the other? Oh, KimFest is also coming up in Miami, but we're not going to be at that one because I'm broke. It's because it's Miami, and Lacida's doing really well. But yeah, so like I just want to say thank you again to everybody and all the support, because again, we would not be here without you, and we are trying our best to fulfill on to make good on all the promises that we have made, and make sure that y'all have the representation that you actually deserve, and not just the stuff that's just given to you.
Absolutely.
So where can people follow you or the web? I mean, not just going to the website, but like where can they follow so that they can get all these updates? Is it best on Instagram, TikTok? That's what
let's see. I forget about my own stuff. So Instagram, you got blurred.and.powerful to follow, and then that's where we are actually in the form of an aggregator site right now, where we're trying to show you all how awesome Black nerds are on a daily basis. Okay, the updates will be going there, as well as my personal Instagram, which is at hellspawned_cosplay, and then also on TikTok at hellspawned. So we're all over the place trying to make sure that we saturate the community with the information that they need in order to get what they need done. YouTube isn't really our medium because there's a level of consistency that's just not there for something like that. They want consistent updates.
Yeah,
on
they
YouTube.
want it. They want it every time, all on time, every time.
Yeah, no. But no. So yeah, that's where I'm at, and again, also follow Blurred Station on Instagram and Wingless Comics, and so many other. I am affiliated with a lot of people. The next convention that I'll be at is KatsuCon at the Gaylord. I've teamed up with 2 other individuals that I call us basic. Well, I think the three of us are basically like 3 David Ruffins, in cosplay. We got Sir Julius cosplay and
David Ruffin.
Yeah,
David Ruffin.
Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
Right. Like because individually we do pretty well on our own, but the fact that we're coming together just for this one cosplay, this one idea that I can't tell people publicly what it is yet, but when we drop it, it's going to be like, oh, that's different. I can see why you want and need horses at the hotel, but then they won't let me get horses because of insurance, so yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Wow. Okay, Uncle Percy, you got anything for us on the way out the door?
After talking about all this blackness, I'm scared to talk now. Actually, I was watching Antenna. That's one of the channels owned by WGN here in Chicago. And 2:00 in the morning, I woke up and I saw this old show that I forgot all about, Soap. I did not know how funny that show really was.
Man,
and
that's TV right there.
And honestly, I wish there was a black version of it, not that Tyler Perry shit, but a real show like that, just to have out there, just for Black characters, because it was just fun just to see, Billy Crystal, his character. I think he won an Emmy for his character too.
That show was controversial for the time it
Yeah,
came out.
Was.
Yeah.
Oh
was.
man, big time.
Yeah, I think I wish we had something like that.
My man. Okay. Auntie, I'm sorry, I keep saying Auntie. Cousin Mayu, anything for us on the way out the door?
Well, I'm finishing up the show The Devil's Plan on Netflix. Definitely enjoyed that. And now I'm watching The Trust, and I'm finishing that tonight. So I just got a lot of Netflix stuff. But you can, still follow me at MAU82 on Instagram. And I was asking about that because he was saying he didn't get the support that he needed. Okay, that's why I was asking about where people can follow. Okay, I already said his girl gotta get him Papa here at 10. So
there's an old saying: "Hit dog or holler." Uncle DJ, anything for us on the way out the door?
Man, listen, I am thankful for Uncle Demetrius for coming through. Appreciate it, man. I'm blown away, bro. I think you're on the right track. I love everything you're doing, and keep doing what you do. And maybe I'll get a chance to see you in April.
Yeah, well, we'll be there. I'll be there. Yeah, we're going to be asking that same question out there. We see what kind of reactions we get in person,
and let the riots ensue. Uncle Rod, anything for us on the way out the door?
I just want to thank Demetrius once again for coming by. And I will be at the Urban Nerd Con. I will wait for you to ask that question, and I will be dressed and ready for combat.
It's nothing. Hopefully, it's nothing as bad as like, oh, I'm just gonna put one piece on the floor. Did you see that video? That woman decided she was going to put one piece on the floor as if it was trash.
How dare she?
Man, huh?
How dare she?
How dare she?
The hell is
it's gonna look like that church scene in Kingsman.
Damn.
We only wish it would be that cool. So, for the absent Auntie Nicole, for Cousin Mayu, Uncle Percy, Uncle DJ, Uncle Rod, Super Producer Mel, and Super Producer Roy, we wish to thank now Uncle Demetrius Holt for joining us today. We are the Grumpy Old Nerds every Thursday here at 8:30, 7:30 Central. We are here for your delight and your amusement and thought-provoking conversation, which don't happen often. So, y'all have a good night. We'll see you next week.